I'm Ada Harden, Volunteer Resource Specialist for AISD. It's Your Future is a program for AISD students and others who want to learn more about specific career fields. People from all walks of life will be here to share their experiences with you on our program and to help you know how to go about planning your future. We have a very special person with us on the show, and I'm very especially pleased to have him because he's so busy and he's taken time out of his busy schedule to be with us. And his name is Rudy Cisneros.
Correct.
Correct. From, what is it, Cisco's Bakery?
Cisco's.
Cisco's Bakery. Oh, well, thank you so much for coming.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
Listen, I've heard so much about you and your bakery and all of the things and the history behind it is just so interesting. Why don't we talk about some of the things first, like your background in education and those kinds of things. I know that you've been in business a long time, but we want to talk about that. Give us a little insight on it, would you?
Well, I really didn't go to school, Ada.
Okay.
I was very unfortunate that I couldn't, so I went away from home early age. I joined the service when I was 15, and that's one of the best educations I ever had, being in the service, because you get to know lots of people of different walks of life. You get to know their habits, their likes and dislikes. That way you can get along with everyone. And it's unfortunate that they don't have that anymore, where kids would serve one year in the service. So I came out of the service. I appreciated my home life so much after being in the service and my parents that I decided to go into business and make it up to them. And it's business is hard. You have your ups and downs, but if you don't give up, because you fall and you raise again, and the longer you go, the more you appreciate it. And you just get established. Like I never thought I'd be in business 38 years, and here I am, 38.
My, and you started way back.
I started right about 48.
Oh, and didn't you start out, this is what, third location or something like that?
This third location.
Okay, but way back, now, and I'm not saying you're old, but way back when you started, it was just the bakery, right?
Yeah, it started originally
How
just
did
a
that
bakery.
happen? Let's talk about that.
Well, my dad was a baker.
Oh, okay.
And I feel that I should do that, so he'll have something to do. So so one cold day, afternoon, raining, and my bakers had nothing to do, and I really struggled back in those days because in the field I'm in, the Mexican type pastries, only ones that bought it was the Mexican people, because the rest of the people didn't know what it was.
Oh.
So one afternoon, my bakers had nothing to do, so they made a pan of home-made biscuits, buttered biscuits. And across the street, there was this body shop. So they came over. They always knew we had a pot of coffee back in the back. And they had some coffee, and they gave them biscuits. Well, the next day they came back, wanted some more. So we made some more, and that's where they kept bringing their friends. So we added a table and a counter, and it just proceeded that way. Then I moved from that location to where I have my present location, and I set up lots of tables and a grill.
Oh.
And Sam Shambler, a friend of mine, in the restaurant business, said, "Rudy," says, "why don't you start frying eggs?" I said, "Heck, I don't want to fry eggs." So we used to serve them 2 biscuits, a cup of coffee, 15 cents.
Oh my goodness! How long ago was that?
Oh gosh,
long
it's been
time, huh?
About 30 years ago.
Oh.
So he said, "Hey, Rudy, add 2 eggs to it. Anybody can fry eggs, and you can charge a quarter. 2 eggs, 2 biscuits, cup of coffee, or a quarter." I said, "Oh, Sam, too damn much trouble." He said, "I'm gonna give you a grill. I'm gonna do this." All right, so we started. Then we added beans to it, for our surface, for the help.
Wait a minute. Beans in the morning?
Beans. Yeah, somebody said one time, "Who in the heck eats beans in the morning?" I said, "Hell, people in Mexico do." So that added beans, and we added, Sam said, "Won't you add a piece of sausage or bacon? Add another nickel to the price." Okay, we've done that, add a nickel. Then a little old lady I had for a dishwasher, she made some hot sauce. So some customers say, what's that? It says hot sauce, rancheros. Well, we want some of that. So we can say that I'm the father of breakfast in Austin, because back in those days, the only place, you know, you could get breakfast was in hotel restaurants.
Oh, okay.
You know, and nobody really wanted to eat breakfast because you're tired. You wake up, what are you going to eat? Just 2 eggs, bacon, or sausage and toast. But when we start, you know, adding beans to it, adding hot sauce to it to give it a different flavor, and that breakfast is your best meal of the day, because if you don't...
Why do you say that? You really think that?
Yeah, I think so.
Why?
Because you start working about 10 o'clock, you know, you haven't got the spirit. And people used to eat a donut and a cup of coffee. Well, it's not nourishing at all. And then they don't make donuts and stuff like they used to. There's too much sugar in them, and they don't have the right ingredients in them. So it just didn't work. So people eat more and more. They eat breakfast, and now everybody serves breakfast.
Right.
You know, I start serving migas. And
what's that?
migas is a breakfast, or no, it's a well, we make them with taco shells. You break them up, you add cheese, onions, tomatoes, and eggs, mix them up. They're called migas. In Mexico, they're called chilaquiles.
I see.
And here, people ask me, well, I don't call it chilaquiles. Hell, I can't spell it. You know, so I call it migas.
Oh, okay. And something else later. I know when I was down there, okay, and we were looking, I asked for the menu. Or one of the crew guys asked for the menu, and you say you didn't have one.
We have never had a menu.
You don't have a menu. What do you do? I mean, just go from table to table?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you how it happened. I had a waiter work for him many years, and he's passed away. But some men came in there all dressed up in ties, and he went over, and they said, want to see a menu? He said, we don't got a menu. This guy mocked him. He said, how come you don't got a menu? He says, we know what we got. So that caught on, you know. We just use that so we know what we have.
And you haven't had a menu, I understand,
Never
since
have had a menu.
1946 or something?
48.
We saw an old one down there, 48. We saw that one down there. And
No, that one on the table?
Yes.
No, that was my menu we had for Christmas Day when I was in the service in 1942 at Fort McIntosh.
Oh.
I was a horseman on the Mexican border for 5 years.
Oh, so that actually was not the menu
It's not the menu of the place. It's a souvenir.
A souvenir?
Souvenir of our Christmas menu.
But don't you use some of those items still?
No,
Do you fix
it was
those?
a Christmas menu, you know, turkey and all that sort of deal.
You don't even do that at Christmas time?
Christmas we're closed on Christmas.
Oh.
But we're not closed. We're open for all my friends.
Okay.
And we have turkeys and all that, and everybody comes eats free.
Oh.
You know,
well, we know where to come.
Yeah.
Christmas.
You know, Christmas, I call police department. I call EMS. I tell anybody's on duty, come on by.
That's
and
great.
I have lots of friends that live in apartments and don't get invited anywhere to eat. So we sit on tables, help yourself. They want drinks,
great.
help yourselves, and all that.
So, in other words, you put a lot back into the community.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think that's so important because you have such a reputation in the community, a good reputation in the community.
Who told you that?
Cactus did. And we're really proud of that because I think Cisco's Bakery is a historical place, and that was one of the reasons for selecting you to be on the show and to tell us about that.
Well, you know, things have changed a lot since I first started. There used to be kids coming around there. There used to be a lot of houses around where I'm at now. They all moved out, you know. But I'm very proud that I have never been broken into or held up or anything like that.
You told me about that, and it was a real special reason, too.
Well, kids, one time word got out that inquiring as to why they had never hit me, and said, well, that I had never, by guess, neglected to say hello to them. And it used to be little kids, and they come by and see me. They're grown men, some of them, that had come by on Saturday, and the way it started, 3 or 4 of them came all, you know, they were dirty and all that, and long hair. And I say, I'll go to the barbershop over there and get a haircut, and y'all go home and take a bath, and I'll give y'all some money to go to the movies. That was about 3 kids. And I called the barber. I says, give them haircuts, I'll pay you. Then they went home, came by, and I gave them all money for the movies. Next week, 6 of them. After that, 10 of them. You know, but they didn't get haircuts every week.
Oh, okay.
But they'd come by all cleaned up and says, look, we're clean. So I give them all money. They'd go to the Ritz.
Oh,
so
the Ritz Theater.
Yeah, you remember the Ritz?
Ah, yes, on 6th Street.
And it just, things like that I've done for the kids, you know.
And they don't forget that. I think that's so important to let them know that you do care about, you know, what they're about, and to kind of help them out like that.
A lot of them have become, you know, good kids, never went to the pen, things like that. And I think the community should get more involved on a personal basis like that. Some people get involved in things like that, but they publicize it to publicize themselves. You know, so who the heck they helping? And these kids, you know, I have sent some kids through university, all the way through.
Oh, really?
I don't mean just the money to get to the co-op to buy books. I have had kids, and girls too, that I've given them full scholarships all the way through.
My goodness.
And I have never revealed who they are, and one of them revealed to someone that I had done it, but they had said, what do we do to pay back? I said, when you get your, you know, education and you start making money, you pick out a kid and send them. And I don't know if they have or not. I'm sure they would or will.
They probably would. They probably would. Because of their experience that they've had with you, and it was such a positive move on your part. Yeah, I would think. Well, I think that's great. I didn't know that, so you didn't tell me that before time.
Well, a lot of things I don't even tell my wife, if I had one.
Listen, I understand some really, really famous people come to your place. Why don't we talk about a little of that? Like, I saw a picture of Walter Cronkite, I believe.
Yeah, he comes in there, but in there I got to have a picture of him there. Okay. George Christian comes in there.
Oh, yeah.
Mac Wallace, who was a railroad commissioner. Ada, who's on TV. And,
Ada loves it too.
And I've had some very famous people there. Had Bishop Tutu.
Oh.
Last week was Cesar Chavez. And 3 years, all the politicians. You know, I was a friend of President Johnson's since he was a congressman.
Yeah, he was a frequent customer.
Not when he became president, but they used to send stuff down there and get the food when he was at the ranch. Excuse me, I remember one time I had a lady that made good tamales.
Oh.
And they loved them. You know, I used to send them to Washington to everyone.
Oh, really?
So I got a call and said wanted, I think, 200 dozens for Lady Bird's birthday. So I was going to make tamales, and Wick Fowler's going to make the chili.
Yeah.
So I went and told this lady, Miss Garcia, I said, Miss Garcia, I want 200 dozen tamales. Started making them. I said, I don't want anyone to help you. Make them yourself, because I don't want any problems. And she said, a lot of tamales. I said, yes. I said, this is going to go to the president in Washington.
Oh.
And boy, she got shook up. She said, no, don't make them. Don't make them. And I said, what do you mean you don't make them? She said, no, don't make them. I could see she was shook
Nervous,
up.
Yeah.
I said, Miss Garcia, you know, President Lyndon Johnson's going to eat them, President Kennedy, and mentioned, said, don't you like Kennedy and Johnson? See, I love them, but don't make them, don't make them.
Oh.
I said, why? She put me in a spot. She says, because I'm recibiendo el centavo, I'm receiving the penny. That's what in Spanish let them refer to Social Security.
Oh.
She said, they find out I'm making money on the side, they cut me off.
And she didn't do that?
She made them.
Oh, she
I
did.
made her a promise.
Oh, okay.
And another time, I got a call, I think from Jake. Some of the
Jake Pickle?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Some of the congressmen and senators coming down to go hunt at the ranch. So they wanted some tamales to take over for all the hunt. So I called Mr. Garcia and I told him I wanted so many tamales, they're going to be in town certain hours. So one of Jake's got a driver to go by there and pick them up, and then pick up the senators and represent the airport, and go and take them to the ranch. Well, no, he picked up the senators and the representatives at the airport. Then went by her house.
Oh.
And then on went out to the ranch. Well, I was on grand jury that afternoon, so when I got back to the shop, I called her and asked her, did they pick up tamales? She said, yeah. I said, a bunch of big shots. He says, it looked like a big shot. They all had white hats. Well, if she'd have known there were, I guess, there were Secret Service and senators and representatives, she'd have died.
Oh, my goodness. Is she still making them?
No,
for you?
she
She
died.
passed?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, you should have found somebody. Did you find someone else?
I have someone else now that makes them for me nowadays, but, you know, they vary. Not everybody makes good tamales.
Oh, well, I know.
I have some, a couple of ladies now make some good ones for Christmas. That's the only time that have good tamales.
So, and you don't make them there?
No,
What about the baked goods in your store? I noticed those are just absolutely wonderful. I not only noticed it, but I had an opportunity to taste it. I just had one.
Well.
Oh, it was wonderful. Coconut. Do you make those right there on the
Yes, we make those right there. I have a son that comes in at night and makes those.
Who?
A son of mine.
Oh, your children work in your business with you?
It depends, you know, how many I have at the time, because but every other week I get mad and fire one of them. You know, and I think it makes me mad just to rest for a week.
Do you find it difficult to have your family working in the business with you?
I have a rule.
Others?
I have a rule that I tell them. I says, the hours you work here, so you're just another employee, and I expect you by guys to work just like the rest of them. And that works out pretty good. You can't play favorites.
How many do you have working in your business now on a full-time?
This week,
full-time?
This week I have 2.
This week? I mean, do you just have them to come in when you're going to be busy?
I have 3 usually work for me.
How much staff do you have? How many people?
10.
10? They full-time?
Yeah.
Full-time.
And we're only open, you know, 8 hours a day.
Oh.
7 in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon.
Why is that? You've got such great business. And
well, it doesn't pay for me to stay open later than that. You have to, and especially the way the economy is. And so I'm basically breakfast and lunch. Then you have other fine restaurants, like next door you have La Tapatia, that people go out and have dinner at night.
So you give the competitor a break.
Yeah.
Also.
We get along.
Yeah. You have a lot of businesses up and down 6th Street. Has it always been like that, or what kind of changes have you seen in the last few years in regards to businesses folding or staying open, and what would be the success of those who get to survive?
Well, I could just, the word would be sweating it out, because I've seen so many open up. They'll see somebody doing good and they say, well, we can do it too. And the ones I've seen fold up, they don't know, they haven't learned or won't learn that it's not all yours, all that money comes in. You know, you get to keep about 10 cents out of every dollar. You have to pay your taxes. And if you get in trouble, once you get in trouble or behind your taxes, that's it. And like years ago, it used to be that the rule of a restaurant owner, when you bought a new car, leave it about 2 blocks away from the shop.
Why?
Because you park in front, people get jealous, said, heck, he's making too much money, let's go someplace else. That used to be the deal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Do you find that happening now?
Not anymore.
Wonder why?
I guess because people, by guess, that would criticize you, they're driving a better car.
And then they wouldn't want to spend their money with you because they felt like you were doing too well?
So it has changed, like I say. Now, we've opened up a lot of places now in Austin, all over, and what you can see, you pick up the paper and you see sort of a price war, 2 for 1, things like that. Well, somebody asked me, why don't I do that? I said, well, I don't even advertise. And you cannot, I guess, cut your prices and keep up your quality. So how do they do it? I said, well, you'll find out. Go over and try it. And you're going to find out something is wrong. They're not using the right ingredients or what have you.
Yeah, and I can see why, like you said a few moments ago, as far as the economy is concerned, okay, I can see where that can differ. Because a lot of times people say, oh, well, you can get, back then, you could get, what was it, 2 biscuits and a cup of coffee.
For 15 cents.
For 15 cents. But it costs more for you to operate now.
Oh, yes.
You know, everything's higher.
And it's going to get worse, Ada, because of our new immigration laws and what have you. And you have your minimum wage, you have insurance to pay, and that's awfully high. Utilities. I wish Sammy Allred was here. He'd really blow his top on utilities, saying that utilities cost you more than your payments of your building. And I had somebody else, oh, it shouldn't be high. I said, look at here.
Yeah.
I said, you kidding? I said, look at it. And it's awful. And now, well, it's just new taxes all the way around.
Yeah. And it's kind of like a cycle, you know. It was cheaper then, but salaries were cheaper.
Yeah, you could hire illegal aliens, and not necessarily pay. Well, back in those days, you really didn't have it. You could hire somebody by the week and not by the hour.
And you can't do that now?
Not as unless you make them an official or something. Okay, your base pay is going to be X amount of dollars, which is usually more than minimum wage. And the reason you do that is because they take more interest in the business.
With all those changes in mind, what would you say was the time that you were in school, what would you say was the most important subject that has played the greatest part in what you do now? You know?
The language, English.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Well, it just goes in with people. Learn to speak English properly, and a lot of them, businessmen and Hispanics, they're sort of embarrassed to be in front because they think people are going to laugh at them because of the accent.
Oh, but can they speak English? Those
Sure, they can, but they don't practice it enough, you know. And they speak Spanish 95% of the time.
Well, is that because your clientele is basically Spanish?
Not mine.
I didn't think so. I didn't think so.
Somebody asked me a while back, you know, that heard me speaking Spanish. Said, "We didn't know you could speak Spanish, you know."
Oh, really?
Somebody said, "What nationality are you, Rudy?" I said, "Heck, I don't know. I'm confused." You know, whether I'm German or chicken, because when I was a kid, I had German measles and chicken pox, so I don't know which one I had.
Okay, you're beginning to sound like Cactus, your friend. I know you all are very good friends. Listen, I'd like for you to tell me something. What is it like, a day-to-day kind of operation with you there? You know, what do you do? I don't see you doing much. You sit and entertain.
I sat back there in an easy chair.
And relax.
And relax and greet people and talk to them. And somebody said, you know, you don't do a darn thing anymore. I said, hell, I deserve not to. You 38 years, I deserve not to do anything.
You deserve not to. Well, I guess
because I really started working when I was about 7 years old.
Oh, really?
And I'm very lucky I never got in trouble.
That's wonderful. So you're saying that work won't hurt anybody?
Of course not.
And you really encourage young folk to start working early?
Sure.
Yeah, I agree. And it keeps them out of a lot of trouble, too.
Yeah. One of the things that some of the privileges are things that have taken away from younger people, like when they started insisting on minimum wage. El Matamoros restaurant was Monroe Lopez, you know, he had it.
Right.
Well, he used to hire kids and pay them 50 cents an hour to clean tables. Well, the kids, that's where they got their start, by being around grown people and knowing how to, then they'd graduate to be waiters if they want to, cooks. And there's one of them in Houston now, in Dallas now, Pete Dominguez, who was a shoe shine boy on 6th Street.
Right. He started out right here in Austin, didn't he?
Started right here in Austin, shining shoes, and bus boy from Monroe. Went to Dallas, and I imagine he has about either 7 or 9 restaurants. He's done very good.
Oh, really?
His family still lives here, and he's down to earth. He hasn't changed one bit. He comes to Austin to come by to see me, or bring his mother, aunt, and rest of them. And not look at him, you wouldn't think he's, you know, a multimillionaire. He's a down-to-earth guy. I've never forgotten where he came from. He'd go in there and buy gas and buy cookies, you know. He said, I'll never forget, Rudy, when I was a kid, I'd come by, you always give me a cookie. You know?
That's great. And I bet you feel real wonderful when people, you know, go away and come back and visit with you, and they've made well. And I'm pretty sure that you had a lot to do with that.
Well, yes, I did, I guess, you know. Never intended to, you know. Like, oh, I wanted to tell you a story about this diamond here.
Oh, okay. That's a nice size one, too. Is it a good story? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go.
You might remember a kid, Rocky Caballero, a boxer.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, his he comes from a family, I think it was 7 or 9. His father left him when they were young. So when he started growing up, he started boxing and things like that. He always come around and say, "Say, Dad, lend me $1. I'll pay you." "Fine, Rocky." I knew you never would. You know. And then he became a boxer. He became, and all the money he made, he'd take it to his mother. And she would probably give him $1 out of whatever he took home.
Oh,
But
I remember those days, too.
He always came to me, and he was good. You know, his mother really was hard on him. I mean, hard, strict, not hard. And always borrowed money, borrowed money. So he went to work for a jewelry store. And I walked into a place one day, and he was in there, and all dressed up, had this diamond on his tie. I said, "Say, Rock, that's pretty stone."
Yeah.
He said, "Here, Dad, I won't give it to you." He said, "I never did pay you that money."
Oh, how
So-
wonderful.
And that's the story behind it.
So it pays off
Yeah.
to be nice to people like that.
Yeah.
I think it's so neat. Well, I'm glad that was a wonderful story.
And Rocky's doing good, has a family of his own in Dallas now.
Oh, really? Oh, that's great. That's great. We've got some other nice, interesting things here, too.
Yeah. Well, this is the 6th Street diamond.
Oh.
The Congress Avenue diamond, I put it up.
Oh, my goodness. It must be nice to have special ones for a special occasion. Listen, would you believe our time is almost up?
It is.
It is, yeah, that's unfortunate. And I want to ask you one question, that is, how would you advise young people who are interested in going into the restaurant, bakery business? How would you advise them?
Learn it good, what you're going to do. And work right next with your help. You know, work as hard as they do, or a little harder, and they'll work a little harder for you. And don't show by guys that you're the boss all the time.
Oh.
You know, just be equal to them.
Be equal to them and treat them just like
Treat them just like, you know, you want to be treated.
That's wonderful. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Good one.
Correct.
Well, thank you so much for that wonderful advice. And we want to remind our students that listening to Rudy Cisneros has been a wonderful experience for me from Cisco's Bakery. But it's hard work. Like he said, it's very hard work. But it's worth it because it's your future. Thank you.